Okay, now we're back in the land of the giant beat. Okay. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Scheisen. Hang on. Stand by. I'm going to leave that in. You know why? Because I want to. So, damn it. Let me watch my feet here, my big feet. All right. Anyway, so here we are. Back to Giant Beatberg. Bob brought two original Giant Beats. These are white labels. These are 20-inch. 20-inch Giant Beats, okay? Original white label. No black label, 1971, 74 stuff. This is all 1967 to 1970, 71 stuff. I'm not sure when. But they're rocking. They're rocking with docking. Alright, so what I have, these are two originals he has. He considers these to be his babies. Now I have to tell you, I don't know if Bob bought. Do you remember the Cymbals that Carmine? Well, I think that Vinny says Vinny Appice, and I think that or no, Carmine used to. It's Appice, I think, but just to straighten this out, I think originally it was Appice, or Vinny says Vinny Appice, and Carmine used to say it, but I think he changed it to Appice for a while. Anyway, one of these Cymbals, I believe, it might not be one of these. Bob might have it at his house, but he bought, I think, one or two of those Cymbals that Carmine Appice was selling. You know, once he had claimed that he had taken, that he had it on the 1969 tour that Bonham played a couple times, and of course was probably like, wow, these are great, let me get some from PAISTE or whatever. So whether or not that's true, no offense against Carmine, no offense against Bob, you never know. Unless you have a time machine, you follow these things through, you never know what the deal is. I believe this might be it. Bob did have at least one of those or two. He paid up the wazoo for him, God love him. But I'm telling you, Bob, he should write a book. I think people, PAISTE freaks like myself, owe a lot of gratitude to Bob, God love him. So, 3 20-inch Giant Beats. This is a reissue I just bought because I just had to have it. I saw the sound file somewhere on a Memphis Drum Shop or something, and it was just sounded so beautiful that I went and bought one. I got a good deal on it. There's a couple places on out of Wisconsin, Cascio Music is selling some of these PAISTEs. A really good deal. I don't know if they're doing it anymore, but I think I paid something like maybe $180 for this. It wasn't a lot. No, maybe it was more. Maybe like $200, $202 free shipping. It's a beautiful, one of the best sounding 20s I have. In fact, maybe the best. All right, so reissue. Not 2005, 2006 like Bob had the other ones from, you know, the very first reissue. But this is one I got, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. And of course, you know, the original reissue ones had the serial number here. PAISTE in recent times has started laser engraving the serial number and stuff on the underside in a little circle thingy. So there are no longer serial numbers here, at least on, you know, some I've seen. So here we are. Okay? So, I'm going to give you some quick weights. This 20-inch reissue that I have here, which is mine, weighs 1,830 grams. Reissue, 1,830 grams, 20-inch. This one weighs 2,030 grams. So this original is 200 grams heavier than this reissue. Back to my yapping at the mouth, PAISTE should consider these medium thin and come out with a medium heavy version. Now medium heavy sometimes maybe is a scary word for a lot of drummers. Like, ooh, heavy. But you know, just a model that's a little heavier. This is 200 grams heavier, okay? 1,830 grams reissue, 2,030 grams reissue, original. Now this other one, which I believe is the Appice one, Bob, I forgot to totally check that with you if you indeed brought one of those. This is 1,861 grams. So you can see even back then, I've said in other videos that, and especially thanks to Bob, because he found all this out. I mean, I saw him here and there, and I foamed at them out with him, but he went all out and bought. He'd see him on. I taught him how to spot them and stuff. You know, where the you know, stamps were and stuff. He went berserk and was snatching these things up on eBay. Not just American eBay, but like German eBay, and he went all over. He was getting these things delivered to him, and like I said, through my house. The reason why I saw so many of them wasn't, I had some myself years ago, and you know, not that long ago, but all these cymbals usually would come through my house. So of course I was like, well, Bob, as part of the deal, I get to open the box and see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of my experience, especially with old giant beats, is straight from Bob. So anyway, back to the stuff. 20-inch reissue from a few months ago, 1,830 grams, white label, 1967 to 1971, 2030, 200 gram differential. Original white label, 1967 to 1971. This again could be the Carmine Appice one, which was $1 jillion. Supposedly Bonham played. I'm not making this up. I'm telling you, my friend Bob, in fact, bought those from, and I think there was another thing where Carmine might have been selling another one or something, but I'm telling you, my guy Bob was the guy that originally bought those. So this could be it. There could be actually Bonham mojo on the cymbal. You never know. All right, so I'm kidding, by the way, not really. So here we go. So check this out. I'm gonna put my headphone. You know, my hearing is kind of going. So here is the reissue, which is mine. Beautiful sounding cymbal. 1830 gram, 2030. And then the 1861 gram. And what I would say with the giant beats, the thing I like about it is the shimmer goes on. I'm not necessarily talking about the overtones hanging. There's a difference between, you know, in cymbals you hit them and you hear that, oh, here's some of those low rumble overtones. The thing to me is that original giant beats and reissues is that the actual like the shimmery part seems to last longer generally than in a 2002 and especially in Zildjians and stuff. So here we go again. Now I'm going to take my headphones off because I just definitely, you know, it does block out some of the quality things I want to point out, I suppose. So the bell of the 1861. The edge. Again, this is the, I think, I'll straighten it out with Bob. I don't know if he brought that one, but this might be the Carmine one. The 2030. That's a great bell. Very straight up, no really clashing frequencies, I think. This one, I would say I just prefer, this is more of a Zildjian-y B20 sounding bell slightly. This is a classic B8. You know, when you hear like a whole lot of love. You know what I mean? Those are B8 bells, as far as I'm concerned. So, and then, now this one is more, again, which I've said in the other videos, the reissues are, well, I mean, they might change it. Well, if they, you know how they listen to me. But this, again, is the shape of the reissue giant beats is a 2002 press, my opinion. The originals had bigger bells. You don't really notice it as much in the 20s. It's hard to, you know what's funny about it? It's, you know, I gotta be totally honest. This isn't maybe a good example. I put, just so you know, if you want to see, if you go on to Google and type in giant beat versus reissue or something, you'll see some images on there that I put on a site somewhere that are still on there. You'll find them. You'll see the bell of two cymbals. You can see in the background of the room I took them in, there's a white wall with like French pane windows and an oak floor. I took those pictures, God, I don't know, 6 years ago. I mean, right after Bob got the original set from the Chicago Drum Show. I took him, he had an original come in from probably one of these, I don't know. and then the original that he bought there. And I took pictures of the bell. You can really see the difference in the size of the bell. Not the end of the world, neither here nor there. I'm certainly not saying, you know, all right, PAISTE, everything's 80% there, 90% there, now make a bigger bell. I mean, I don't know. I got to tell you, I prefer the sound of the reissues. So PAISTE, of course, they're the cymbal makers. They know what the hell they're doing. So, but you know, I don't notice it too much here. I mean, I do, but not as pronounced as I seem to remember from the photograph. Again, I love 505s, and I find that I think the press that they use for the 505s are generally bigger bells. A little bit bigger bell, because here's a 505. I don't know if you can see that. It's a bigger bell, the more 602-y bell, but I think not quite as 602-y. By the way, this is a 505 20-inch medium, which is my baby. I love it because it has sort of a darker tone to it. So here's the giant beat. It's a little harsher song, but it really cuts through on stage. You know, when you're playing the Zeppelin stuff as I was. Anyway, so so I find that the 505s again seem to have the slightly bigger bell that I think giant beats have. I think part of the angle of 2002s when they came out in 1971 is that they obviously made a smaller bell on purpose. I mean, it was part of their design. I mean, they put a lot of thought into it. You know, those guys obviously totally know what they're doing. So, all right, again, back to these at hand. My reissue, modern reissue giant beat from a couple months ago. And there's that PAISTE ring I said in the other video. It's not as pronounced, I think, in the giant beats. Really, in the 2002s especially, you hear that high frequency, like the phone is ringing thing. Anyway, now here out of these three, I must say, to me, I prefer the reissue. Out of the originals we have here, I prefer the heavier one. And I prefer, I should say, yeah, generally speaking, I prefer the reissue here and the lighter weight. Slightly. But I mean, and here's the Carmine one, or possibly the Carmine.